Very few villains in the world of Mortal Kombat embody pure manipulation, ambition, and sinister intelligence quite like Quan Chi. A necromancer, a schemer, and a puppet master, lurking behind some of the franchise's most devastating events. Quan Chi isn't just a villain, he's the architect of chaos itself. Across games, timelines, and reboots, his beginnings shift, reshaping how we understand his motives and rise to power. From his first major appearance in Mortal Kombat Mythologies Sub-Zero to his expanded role in Mortal Kombat X and the reimagined timelines that followed, each version of Quan Chi adds a new layer to his mythos, revealing a character who thrives in deception, betrayal, and death itself. In this video, we're diving deep into every origin of Quan Chi, breaking down how his story has evolved, what remains consistent across timelines, and why he continues to be one of Mortal Kombat's most dangerous minds. So, let's begin. How did Quan Chi first appear in any Mortal Kombat media? Mortal Kombat Defenders of the Realm 1996 cartoon debut. Quan Chi first appeared in the Mortal Kombat universe in the cartoon Mortal Kombat Defenders of the Realm. He makes his appearance in the cartoon before he makes his appearance in any of the games. In Season 1, Episode 8, titled The Secret of Quan Chi appears as a mysterious sorcerer. He is not from Earth, but from the Outworld, and is on a mission to invade Earth. Right from the beginning, Quan Chi is shown to be a manipulator. He doesn't simply attack, but he plans to wait for a distraction to make his move. Quan Chi doesn't plan to kill the mortal defendants, he's going to let them fight and defeat themselves. The defendants get a combat alert while they are training and find a dimensional rip. When they reach it, they find a group of automatons. Using this as a distraction, Quan Chi and his pet snake create a portal to the Peruvian rainforest. The defendants track this portal, but they are busy fighting the automatons. Quan Chi uses his magic to get to the realm of Zatera to get to the object he had been looking for. What he had been looking for all this while had been the gem of Tetsuri. He gets the gem, and when the Guardians find the portal, he steps out of the portal in the disguise of a young boy. He says that he is a refugee from the Outworld and asks for help. He asks for sanctuary, and in exchange, he shows them the gem of Tetsuri. The gem affects all the defendants, flashing its red into their eyes, and they remain wary of it. They tell the disguised Quan Chi that they cannot accept his gift, but he nonchalantly says that the offering has been made, and he returns to the portal, closing it. All of a sudden, the defendants begin to blame each other and fight each other. As soon as the fight begins to escalate, Katana realizes they have been fighting ever since they saw the gem. Raiden realizes the gem they are talking about is the gem of Tetsuri. He tells them that the gem is actually a crystallized heart of an evil sorcerer called Tetsuri. The gem has the power to darken the souls of humans and turn them against each other. Only a sorcerer with extraordinary powers will be able to unleash their powers. Katana realizes that the sorcerer was Quan Chi, and Raiden tells them to deal with the gem first. He warns them that the effects of the gem will get worse, and by the next day, they will be trying to kill each other. Raiden tells them that their only shot at destroying the gem is to follow Quan Chi and destroy the gem when he takes it back to Zatera. He sends Nightwolf with the group, who still keeps fighting. When they reach Zatera, they find reflections of Quan Chi, who tells them that only the strongest among them will be able to destroy the gem. This again causes the group to fight as each of them calls themselves the strongest, as per Quan Chi's plan. Nightwolf tries to remind them of Raiden's words, and Quan Chi appears. Nightwolf fights him, and Quan Chi uses his scepter to bind him. He keeps reminding his friends to fight the darkness, and they break out of their trance and confront Quan Chi. Quan Chi uses his magic to conjure a large snake. The group fights as a team, defeats the snake, and Nightwolf destroys the gem. Quan Chi disappears. This cartoon introduces us to Quan Chi, who is a manipulative antagonist. It is a simple appearance without going into the Shirai massacre or the Chinook connection.
Goodbye, ninja.
How was Quan Chi's game origin established? Mortal Kombat Mythologies Sub-Zero 1997 First game origin. In the Mortal Kombat Mythologies Sub-Zero video game, we get a more detailed and canon version of Quan Chi. Here he transforms into one of the most dangerous minds in the Mortal Kombat universe. While the cartoon only gives us a glimpse into Quan Chi's personality, the video game gives us his modus operandi. Quan Chi is someone who uses loyalty as a weapon and betrayal as an endgame. When Sub-Zero appears before the Grand Master saying he has accomplished his task, Quan Chi appears. He is the one who sent Sub-Zero on this mission, and as per the instructions, Sub-Zero has retrieved the sacred map of elements. Quan Chi says Sub-Zero encountered Scorpion while looking for the map, and he angrily accuses Quan Chi, saying he was responsible for Scorpion being there. Quan Chi says he appointed Scorpion in case Sub-Zero failed his mission. When Sub-Zero confronted Scorpion, he killed him during that encounter. The Grandmaster stops them from arguing any further and asks for their payments. Quan Chi presents them with the bones of the leader of the Scorpion's ninja clan. Quan Chi massacres the Shirai Ryu clan himself. The Grandmaster is ecstatic to hear this, and Quan Chi assures him that every last member of their clan has been eliminated. Quan Chi gives another mission to Sub-Zero. The map leads to the Temple of Elements hidden in the Himalayan mountains in Nepal, which predates all the recorded history of Earth. Sub-Zero has to find the temple and get an amulet inside. Quan Chi cannot go there himself because he's on bad terms with the god of that realm, the god of Thunder Raiden. He cannot go there until the 4 elects have been destroyed. Quan Chi has foreseen that Sub-Zero will be able to reach the temple and defeat the 4 elements. When Quan Chi reaches the temple, defeats the 4 elemental gods, and is about to reach for the amulet, Sub-Zero appears before him, taking the amulet. He says it is Shinnok's amulet, who is the ruler of the Netherrealm and Quan Chi's deity. He will soon destroy Earth. When he returns Shinnok's amulet, it will restore the god's powers. He takes the amulet himself and disappears into a portal. This is where Quan Chi's betrayal lies. Sub-Zero believes he was simply completing a contract, but he was being used as a pawn. Quan Chi is an opportunist. He is trying to revive the elder god Shinnok because he knows that Shinnok can grant him true power. Raiden asks Sub-Zero to correct his mistake and retrieve the amulet before it is too late. When Sub-Zero reaches the Netherrealm, he is captured by Quan Chi's forces and imprisoned. Here he encounters a resurrected Scorpion, who believes that Sub-Zero massacred his family. In the climax, Sub-Zero confronts and defeats Quan Chi, and retrieves the amulet from Shinnok. And this seems to be the perfect ending, but Quan Chi still has a trick up his sleeve. The final twist reveals that Quan Chi never gave Shinnok the real amulet. Instead, he created a fake and kept the original for himself all along. This revelation redefines the entire story. It shows that Quan Chi was never truly serving Shinnok. He was just using him, just as he used Sub-Zero and Scorpion.
The mighty gods of Earthrealm.
What was Quan Chi before he was a sorcerer? Mortal Kombat X revealed a deeper lore about Quan Chi. We get to watch who he was before he became a sorcerer. Before Quan Chi was a sorcerer, he was an Oni, a demonic entity born in the Netherrealm. An Oni's sole purpose is to inflict pain. This detail is easy to miss because it is never revealed in a cinematic story mode or a cutscene. As an Oni, Quan Chi would have existed in the lowest strata of the Netherrealm's hierarchy, a realm defined by suffering, chaos, and punishment. The Oni are instruments, and their purpose is to torture damned souls for all of eternity. So Quan Chi's relation with pain and suffering is something intrinsic in his own nature. But Quan Chi was not content to remain an instrument. His ambition made him transcend this role. While carrying out punishments, he started to observe, to learn, and to experiment. The Netherrealm is saturated with dark energies, souls, curses, and forbidden knowledge, and Quan Chi found a way to harness these elements. He began studying black magic and necromancy, disciplines that allowed him to move beyond physical torment into something more abstract and powerful, and gain him control over life, death, and the soul itself. This transition from torturer to sorcerer is the true turning point in Quan Chi's origin. By mastering necromancy, he gains the ability to raise the dead, bind souls, and manipulate existence in ways that even many higher beings cannot. More importantly, it gives him agency, so he is no longer limited to the role assigned to him by the Netherrealm's hierarchy. At some stage during this transformation, Quan Chi adopts a humanoid form, shedding his original Oni appearance. A humanoid form allows him to interact with beings from other realms and deceive them. Quan Chi rarely relies on brute force. Instead, he operates through manipulation, illusion, and psychological control. His rise continues when he encounters Shinnok, the fallen elder god who has been cast into the Netherrealm. At this point, the Netherrealm is ruled by Lucifer, its original sovereign. Quan Chi sees an opportunity. Rather than serving Lucifer, he aligns himself with Shinnok, recognizing that the fallen god's ambition could be used as a vehicle for his own ascent. Together, they overthrow Lucifer, reshaping the power structure of the Netherrealm. By doing this, Quan Chi establishes himself as the Kingmaker. By helping Shinnok seize control, Quan Chi secures a position of immense authority for himself. He becomes Shinnok's arch-sorcerer, a role that grants him access to resources, knowledge, and power on a scale he could never have achieved alone. But, true to his nature, this alliance is never genuine. While he serves as Shinnok's right hand, he is constantly positioning himself for greater power. His story is continued in Mortal Kombat Mythologies Sub-Zero, where he manipulates events to his advantage and ultimately keeps the real amulet for himself. And it makes sense because Quan Chi does not want to remain subordinate to anyone. If we look at Quan Chi's personality, he is cold, calculating, and has no empathy. And it makes sense because he is actually an Oni. This is why he is able to betray so easily and so often, because to him it is simply a strategic decision. Quan Chi is often underestimated by other characters because they do not realize that he has bigger ambitions and his own agenda. This underestimation allows him to work in the shadows, pulling strings without drawing attention to himself. What is actually interesting is that Quan Chi's true origin as an Oni exists in deeper lore, and it is never presented as a central narrative moment. It exists in fragments, scattered across bios and supplemental material. That is why it is so easy to overlook this little detail, but it also adds a layer of mystique to his character.
I am the one you seek to defeat my nemesis Sub-Zero.
How did Quan Chi's lie shape Scorpion's entire story? Mortal Kombat 4, 1997, The Big Confession. Quan Chi's manipulation of Scorpion is one of the most devastating betrayals in the entire Mortal Kombat saga. It fuels one of the most iconic rivalries in gaming history, and as it turns out, it was all built on a lie. This pivotal moment is revealed in Mortal Kombat 4, specifically in Scorpion's arcade ending. Scorpion, who was once the human warrior Hanzo Hasashi, now exists only as a specter driven by vengeance. He exists only to destroy Sub-Zero, the man he believes murdered his entire clan, the Shirai Ryu. This belief binds him to the Netherrealm and fuels his rage, which defines every action he takes. Just as he kills Sub-Zero, Sub-Zero reveals that his soul will never be at peace because he wasn't the man who annihilated his family. The real killer still roams free. Scorpion is reluctant to believe him, but Quan Chi arrives and confesses that he was the one who orchestrated the massacre of the Shirai Ryu, not Sub-Zero. He explains that he needed the power of a specter, and so he engineered the circumstances necessary to create one. He crafted Scorpion's entire existence as a weapon. This revelation completely reverses the narrative, so what was once a straightforward tale of revenge becomes a story of manipulation. Scorpion is a pawn who has been unknowingly carrying out Quan Chi's agenda. Every battle he fought against Sub-Zero in rage was all directed by a lie planted by Quan Chi. To understand why this betrayal was so devastating, you have to understand Scorpion's tragedy. He is one of Mortal Kombat's most emotionally driven characters, as Scorpion is defined by loss. The pain of losing his family and clan is personal and raw. He vows revenge, but against the wrong man. Quan Chi ensures the destruction of the Shirai Ryu, wiping out Scorpion's clan and family, and he allows Sub-Zero to become the scapegoat, leveraging the existing rivalry between the Lin Kuei and Shirai Ryu to make the deception believable. Finally, when he resurrects Scorpion as a specter, he doesn't use Scorpion as his servant. Scorpion acts as his own and kills Sub-Zero. But by the time Scorpion realizes the truth, the damage has already been done. The rivalry between Scorpion and Sub-Zero becomes a story of two warriors manipulated into conflict, their lives and deaths shaped by a third party who benefits from their suffering. When Quan Chi confesses, it sounds casual. By telling Scorpion the truth, he destabilizes him, forcing him to confront the reality that his entire existence has been based on a lie. After confessing, he merely banishes Scorpion into the Netherrealm. This moment also cements Quan Chi as one of the most uniquely dangerous villains in the franchise. Most antagonists in Mortal Kombat rely on strength and intimidation, but Quan Chi, however, operates on a different level. His greatest weapon is control over narrative. What makes this betrayal so enduring is how it continues to influence the Mortal Kombat narrative long after Mortal Kombat 4. The relationship between Scorpion and Sub-Zero evolves, shifting from hatred to uneasy alliance, as the truth of Quan Chi's deception comes to light. This evolution would not be possible without that initial lie. How did Quan Chi become a franchise-level threat? Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance 2002. Rise to major villain. Till now, we have seen Quan Chi operating from the shadows. He has always been a secondary antagonist till this moment, but the franchise has been building up his story from the start, and he transforms from a shadowy manipulator into a full-blown, franchise-level threat in Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance. Up until this point, he had already proven himself to be dangerous, but his actions were often indirect, operating behind the scenes. Deadly Alliance changes that completely. The story begins in the aftermath of Shinnok's failed invasion of Earth. Quan Chi, having once again aligned himself with Shinnok, finds himself in a losing position. Earthrealm's defenders have repelled the threat, and the Netherrealm is no longer a place of opportunity. But Quan Chi adapts. Instead of accepting defeat, he orchestrates his escape as Quan Chi is no longer content to serve failed masters. After escaping, Quan Chi has managed to unlock all the secrets of the ancient runestone, and also discovered the undefeated army of the Dragon King. He forms an alliance with Shang Tsung. Both of them are manipulative sorcerers who are known for their betrayals, and perhaps this is why their partnership works well in the beginning. They recognize each other's shared ambition and complementary skill set. Shang Tsung possesses vast knowledge of souls and has a deep connection to Outworld's power structures, while Quan Chi brings his master of necromancy and his relentless strategic mind. Together they form what becomes known as the Deadly Alliance. Their alliance is dangerous because both of them know how to exploit the weaknesses of others. The first major obstacle on their path is Shao Kahn, the tyrannical ruler of Outworld. For years, Shao Kahn has been one of the most dominant forces in the Mortal Kombat universe, a conqueror whose strength and ambition seemed unstoppable. But Quan Chi and Shang Tsung succeed in killing him. They ally themselves with Shao Kahn and betray him by assassinating him, removing one of the most powerful figures in the franchise. This moment alone is enough to establish Quan Chi as a major threat. Now he is actively dismantling the power structure of the Mortal Kombat universe and establishing himself as a force who operates from the front line. With Shao Kahn eliminated, the Deadly Alliance sets its sights on Earthrealm's greatest champion, Liu Kang. They reach Earth through an ancient portal to get rid of Liu Kang. Liu Kang is the chosen warrior who has repeatedly defended Earthrealm against invasion and destruction. Killing him would be symbolic, sending a message that even the strongest defender can fall. Shang Tsung attacks Liu Kang and Quan Chi attacks him with his spell. With Quan Chi's help, Shang Tsung is able to kill Liu Kang. Shang Tsung absorbs his soul. This is a turning point not just for the story but for the entire franchise. For years, Liu Kang had been the central figure of Mortal Kombat's narrative, the hero who always rose to the challenge. His death creates a world where the villains are victors. Now, nothing stands between them and the total domination of the two realms, the Outworld and the Earthrealm. They return to the Outworld and resurrect the soul of the army of the Dragon King using the souls of the two warriors. While Quan Chi still relies on strategy and deception, he participates directly in the Alliance's actions, confronting enemies and asserting his presence. This shift makes him more visible. At the same time, his alliance with Shang Tsung introduces an interesting dynamic. Both characters are aware of each other's tendencies toward betrayal, yet they choose to work together anyway. With Shao Kahn dead and Liu Kang gone, the balance of power is completely disrupted. Earthrealm is left vulnerable, Outworld is thrown into chaos, and the remaining warriors are forced to regroup and reconsider their strategies. The Deadly Alliance have changed the landscape of the Mortal Kombat universe. This is also the point where Quan Chi's ambitions become more apparent. In many ways, Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance is the moment when Quan Chi truly earns his place among the franchise's greatest villains. How did the reboot timeline expand Quan Chi's role? Mortal Kombat 2011, Revenant Mastermind. Quan Chi's role in the reboot timeline reaches its most terrifying form in Mortal Kombat. While earlier games established him as a master manipulator and Deadly Alliance elevated him to a franchise-level threat, the 2011 reboot places him at the center of the action. In this timeline, he becomes one of the primary architects of destruction, reshaping the fate of nearly every major character through deception, resurrection, and control over death itself. The reboot timeline has been triggered by Raiden's attempt to alter history, but in doing so, he creates a ripple effect that changes how events unfold. Quan Chi, however, remains constant because he adapts faster than anyone else. Where others struggle to understand the shifting timeline, Quan Chi exploits it. He recognizes the chaos as an opportunity, and once again, one of his first targets is Scorpion. In Chapter 3 of the story mode, Quan Chi manipulates Scorpion's vengeance. Despite the timeline reset, Scorpion is still driven by the loss of his family and clan, and Quan Chi ensures that this pain is once again directed towards Sub-Zero. Quan Chi repeats the lie, and it works too. Even in a rewritten timeline, Scorpion's emotions remain predictable and exploitable. Quan Chi understands that some things just need to be redirected. This manipulation leads to one of the reboot's most pivotal moments, where Scorpion kills Sub-Zero during the tournament. Raiden, aware that this outcome is wrong, attempts to intervene, urging Scorpion to show mercy, but Quan Chi's influence proves stronger. Scorpion chooses vengeance over reason, fulfilling Quan Chi's design. This single act removes a key player from the board and sets off a chain reaction that destabilizes the balance of power. As the story progresses, Quan Chi's role expands from manipulator to collector of souls. His allegiance to Shinnok remains, but as always, it is layered with his own ambitions. He begins to position himself as a gatekeeper of the Netherrealm's most valuable resource, the souls of fallen warriors. One of the most devastating events he orchestrates is the resurrection of Sindel. Through dark magic, Quan Chi brings Sindel back to life, enhancing her power and unleashing her upon Earthrealm's defenders. In a single brutal sequence, Sindel kills some of the franchise's most beloved characters. After the massacre, Quan Chi claims the souls of the fallen warriors and transforms them into revenants, undead servants bound to his will. Characters like Jax, Striker, Cabal, Kitana, Nightwolf, and Kung Lao are used as weapons. This is where Quan Chi's mastery of necromancy reaches its peak. He repurposes his enemies as his warriors. When Raiden sees that his attempt to rewrite history is not going as planned, he confronts Quan Chi in the Netherrealm. He is ready to grovel before Quan Chi, saying that he will pay any price to save Earthrealm. Liu Kang knows his plan won't work, but Raiden still decides to take a chance. Raiden decides to bargain with Quan Chi for peace between the Earthrealm and the Netherrealm. Raiden offers him the souls of Earthrealm's fallen warriors in exchange for aid. It is a desperate move, but Quan Chi laughs at his face and refuses. Raiden offers his own soul with them, but he doesn't need Raiden's offer because he already owns the souls. In this moment, Quan Chi reveals the full scope of his plan. While Raiden and the others were fighting to save Earthrealm, Quan Chi was quietly collecting the aftermath. He had anticipated the deaths, prepared for them, and claimed the souls before anyone else could act. When Raiden realizes this, it becomes clear that he has been outmaneuvered. Quan Chi then demonstrates his control by summoning the Revenants, sending them against Raiden in a coordinated assault. This is the moment where Quan Chi's role in the reboot timeline fully crystallizes. There is also a sense of inevitability to his actions in this timeline. Even as Raiden tries to change the future, Quan Chi adapts, finding new ways to achieve his goals. By the end of the game, the cost of his actions is undeniable. Earthrealm's greatest champions are either dead or enslaved, the balance between realms is shattered, and the stage is set for even greater conflict. Quan Chi emerges as a central antagonist, driving the narrative forward. How was Quan Chi finally exposed and killed? Mortal Kombat X 2015, Truth and Death. Mortal Kombat X is where Quan Chi finally meets his fate. For years, Quan Chi has been deceiving warriors and orchestrating tragedies from the shadows, but now it is time for him to face the consequences of his actions. By the time we reach Chapter 9 of the story mode, the stakes are already high. Quan Chi has been captured by Earthrealm's special forces, including Sonya Blade and Jax Briggs. Unlike previous encounters, Quan Chi is restrained, contained, and vulnerable. But even in captivity, he remains dangerous. Sonya and Jax are clear about their objective that Quan Chi must be kept alive. He is the key to restoring the Revenants, the fallen Earthrealm warriors, whose souls he corrupted and bound to the Netherrealm. Characters like Kitana, Jax himself, and others remain trapped in undeath, and Quan Chi's knowledge is the only way to save them. From a strategic standpoint, killing him would be a mistake. This is when Scorpion arrives and asks for Quan Chi. Scorpion tells Sonya that he wants Quan Chi dead, and Sonya explains the situation to him, saying Raiden needs Quan Chi to restore the Revenants. His focus is singular: only Quan Chi concerns me. Through a combination of revelations and confrontation, Scorpion learns that Quan Chi was the one who murdered the Shirai Ryu. He was the one who killed Scorpion's family. The entire foundation of Scorpion's existence, the hatred towards Sub-Zero, was built on a deception. This moment of truth is crucial because it transforms Scorpion's mission. For the first time, he is acting with the complete truth and going after the right man. He defeats Sonya and Jax to go after Quan Chi. Quan Chi, even in chains, tries to maintain control. He attempts to manipulate the situation as he always has, but his usual tactics don't work this time. Scorpion is in no mood to listen. The confrontation escalates quickly. Despite Sonya and Jax's insistence that Quan Chi must be kept alive, Scorpion refuses to back down. On one side, there is the larger goal of saving the Revenants. On the other hand, there is his personal need for justice that has been denied for far too long. And then, the fight begins. In gameplay, Scorpion defeats meets Quan Chi. This is the culmination of years of manipulation, of suffering, of misdirected rage. And when the cinematic takes over, the moment everyone has been waiting for finally arrives. Scorpion executes Quan Chi with a single motion. He decapitates him. As his severed head falls, it continues to chant, finishing a spell that frees Shinnok from his imprisonment. This detail is important because it reinforces a key aspect of Quan Chi's character. He is always thinking ahead. Even his death is not entirely a defeat. He may be gone, but the consequences of his actions persist. The beheading of Quan Chi for Scorpion is closure. By killing Quan Chi, he finally reclaims his agency. By killing Quan Chi, Scorpion also eliminates the only person who could have restored the Revenants. The decision, while emotionally justified, has broader consequences for the world around him. How did Mortal Kombat 1 rewrite Quan Chi's origin? Mortal Kombat 1, 2023, New Era Reinvention. In previous timelines, Quan Chi was an Oni, a demon of the Netherrealm who rose through ambition and cruelty. His evil almost felt inevitable, like a natural extension of his existence. But the New Era wipes that slate clean. This time, Quan Chi begins as a powerless man. According to his current timeline biography, Quan Chi is born into hard labor in an outworld mine, a brutal, dehumanizing environment where survival is uncertain and individuality barely exists. In this version, he has nothing except his desire to escape his reality. Life in the mines is unforgiving. Workers are treated as expendable, their lives defined by endless toil and controlled by forces far beyond their influence. But Quan Chi sees an opportunity here. He betrays the miners by exposing the strike, abandoning them, and aligning himself with those in power. The rebellion fails, the others suffer, and Quan Chi survives. This is the foundation of the new era Quan Chi. It reminds us of the fact that when forced to choose between solidarity and self-preservation, Quan Chi will always choose himself. After the failed strike, Quan Chi's life takes a dramatic turn. Instead of being discarded or punished, he is noticed. A mysterious benefactor recognizes his ambition and his ruthlessness. He is taken away from the mines and introduced to a world of sorcery, forbidden knowledge, and power. Under the guidance of this benefactor, and eventually along Shang Tsung, Quan Chi begins to learn dark magic. This Quan Chi is starting from scratch. He is acquiring his power. He naturally gravitates toward necromancy, the manipulation of souls, the control of death, and the domination of others beyond their own will. Because necromancy, at its core, is about turning individuals into tools, resources to be used and discarded, and that aligns perfectly with the decision Quan Chi made in the mines. As his training progresses, Quan Chi begins to rise. He becomes more than a student of dark magic. He becomes a practitioner with purpose, someone who understands how to use his abilities to shape events around him. His partnership with Shang Tsung further accelerates this rise. Together they begin experimenting with soul-based technologies and rituals, creating systems designed to harvest and manipulate life force. This includes the development of soul stealers, devices, or methods that extract and weaponize souls on a large scale. In the broader story of Mortal Kombat 1, Quan Chi's work with Shang Tsung contributes to destabilizing forces across the realms, and his involvement in soul manipulation ties directly into the larger conflicts that unfold. Even when he is not the central villain, his influence is embedded in the systems that drive the narrative forward. Liu Kang creates this timeline with the intention of giving people better lives, better choices, and a chance to become something more than they were. And for many characters, that opportunity is real. But even in a world designed to be better, Quan Chi finds a way to become worse. How did live-action TV use Quan Chi? Mortal Kombat Conquest 1998 Soul Corruptor version. In the Mortal Kombat Conquest live-action series, Quan Chi appears in episodes 9 and 10. 3 women attack Kung Lao when he tries to save a woman from them. They quickly run away, and Taja and Zero arrive. Zero finds a broken vial and wonders what really happened. The 3 women are revealed to be working for Quan Chi. He berates them for failing their mission in killing Kung Lao. He makes a potion with Netherrealm dust and sends the girls back to Earth. While Zero is getting a shave, one of the girls nicks him for his blood. Taja goes to get roses and she encounters one of Quan Chi's girls, who gives her a free rose and pricks her with it, spilling her blood. Kung Lao encounters the 3rd girl, who asks for help. She is tied up, and as he helps her, he gets hurt, which causes him to bleed. The girls report that they have infected all the defenders. The potions cause them to fight and magnify their shortcomings. Zero starts drinking, Taja starts stealing, and Kung becomes more violent and aggressive. They start fighting each other to the point that Kung almost kills Zero. Raiden arrives and, seeing Zero's condition and Kung's aggression, realizes something is wrong. Quan Chi revels in the fact that Zero is almost dead. He sends one of the girls to his next target, Taja. Taja is being hanged for stealing. Raiden causes thunder to strike, causing the crowd to flee. Raiden confronts Sora, the girl who accused Taja of stealing. She reveals that Quan Chi wants Kung Lao and his friends. She also explains that they injected him with potions to amplify their bad behaviors. The girls tell Quan Chi that Kung Lao has killed monks, which makes him happy. He goes to Kung Lao and asks him to kill the girls. Raiden appears and asks Kung Lao to keep a clear head and not be blinded by his rage. Raiden reveals that Kung Lao never killed monks and that Zero is still alive. Upon hearing this, Quan Chi disappears into the Netherrealm. Quan Chi allies with Shang Tsung to kill Kung Lao. In return, he will give Quan Chi the secret to taking souls. Meanwhile, Kung Lao is plagued by visions of Jen dying. Kung Lao fights a group of masked men to save a girl, but he enters a portal while trying to help the girl. It is Quan Chi and Shang Tsung's plan. Kung Lao finds himself in a different realm, which is a mirror to his own world, but a better one. In 24 hours, it will transform into something horrifying, from which he won't be able to escape. In this realm, Kung Lao finds Jen alive. Shang Tsung double-crosses Quan Chi and refuses to share the secret with him. Quan Chi comes to Zero and Taja tells them that Kung Lao is in danger. Zero and Taja fight him, but he says they need him to protect Kung Lao. They reluctantly follow him, and he sends them to the Mirror Realm. Shang Tsung sees this as an opportunity to get rid of 3 of them. Zero and Taja see that the realm is fading quite fast. They try to convince Kung Lao, but he doesn't want to leave Jen. Zero stabs Jen, and when Jen doesn't react, he realizes they were telling him the truth. The 3 of them leave, foiling Shang Tsung's plan. Even in this version, Quan Chi remains a deceiver and a betrayer. How did animation retell Quan Chi's most famous role? Mortal Kombat Legends, Scorpion's Revenge, 2020, Best Dramatic Version. Quan Chi's role in Mortal Kombat Legends, Scorpion's Revenge is, quite simply, the cleanest and most emotionally powerful retelling of his most iconic storyline, especially the destruction of the Shirai Ryu and the manipulation of Scorpion. While earlier games like Mortal Kombat Mythologies Sub-Zero laid the foundation, this animated version makes it more devastating on a narrative level. Quan Chi disguises himself, commits the massacre, and frames Sub-Zero, and the animation presents it with clarity, emotional weight, and cinematic intensity. The story begins with tragedy and misdirection. Hanzo Hasashi returns to his village only to find it already destroyed, his clan slaughtered, and his wife murdered. The attack appears to be the work of the Lin Kuei, led by Sub-Zero. The film presents this as fact, aligning the audience with Scorpion's perspective. All the evidence points toward a single conclusion: Sub-Zero is responsible. Quan Chi's manipulation works because the lie feels believable, not just to Scorpion but to the audience as well. Hanzo's son is killed in front of him, and he himself is executed shortly after. Quan Chi finally steps into the story. He doesn't reveal the truth, he just reinforces the lie. He tells Hanzo that Sub-Zero is responsible and that the Mortal Kombat tournament is his path to revenge. By doing so, he transforms Scorpion from a grieving victim into a weapon. Hanzo becomes Scorpion not just through supernatural transformation, but through emotional manipulation. In older versions of the story, Scorpion often serves Quan Chi for extended periods before discovering the truth, but here it is compressed. As the tournament unfolds, Scorpion relentlessly pursues Sub-Zero, culminating in their brutal confrontation. Scorpion believes he is avenging his family, and the intensity of the battle reflects that belief. When Sub-Zero dies, it feels like the story has reached its conclusion. After the fight, Quan Chi appears before a wounded Scorpion and confesses the truth. He admits that he was the one who orchestrated the massacre. He disguised himself as Sub-Zero, manipulated the Lin Kuei, and personally killed Hanzo's family. By framing Sub-Zero, Quan Chi ensured that Scorpion would have a target, a purpose, and a reason to enter the tournament. He essentially manufactured a warrior, using grief as raw material and deception as the shaping force. Scorpion now directs his vengeance toward the real culprit. The final confrontation between Scorpion and Quan Chi is perhaps the best fight in the movie. For the first time, Scorpion is no longer being controlled. He is acting with full knowledge, full clarity. Quan Chi, despite his immense magical power, is no match for this version of Scorpion. The fight is brutal and decisive. Scorpion overpowers him, dismembers dismembers him and ultimately kills him, tearing him apart and burning his remains. In many timelines, Quan Chi escapes, survives, or continues manipulating events even after being exposed. But in Scorpion's Revenge, his story ends cleanly. The lie is revealed, the truth is acknowledged, and justice is served. Quan Chi's story across every timeline, medium, and reinvention ultimately circles back to his ambitions. Whether he begins as an Oni in the Netherrealm or a desperate miner in Mortal Kombat 1, the outcome is always the same. He rises through betrayal, deception, and an unmatched understanding of how to break others from within. Across Mortal Kombat Mythologies Sub-Zero, Mortal Kombat 4, Mortal Kombat Reboot, and Mortal Kombat X, he evolves in scale but never in nature. He lies, manipulates, and weaponizes pain, but he never truly serves anyone but himself. Even when he aligns with forces like Chinook or partners like Shang Tsung, he is serving himself. Quan Chi engineers chaos through people. Iconic rivalries like Scorpion and Sub-Zero exist because of his interference. Let me know in the comments which version of Quan Chi is your favorite. Thanks for watching till the end. I'll see you at the next one.